Welcome to the Runna Podcast. I'm Coach Anya, an international marathon runner.
And I'm Coach Ben, and one of the co-founders of Runna.
Each week we'll be deep diving into the world of running, speaking to some inspiring individuals about their running journeys.
Runna is the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide. We help hundreds of thousands of people all over the world train for any running goal. And if you want to try out Runna for free, you can try it out using the code Runna Podcast, all one word, to get 2 weeks of free access to the Runna app.
Today we have on the podcast Lydia Oldham, who is the embodiment of grit and determination. She went from not running at all 4 years ago to now being an experienced marathon runner, ultramarathon runner, and she recently completed the speed project solo. I'm so excited to hear about her mindset and her training and all the crazy challenges she has coming up. Hey Lydia, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, what we really want to talk about is 4 years ago, you weren't really running at all, and now you've done some of the craziest races on the planet. I guess it makes sense to go from the beginning and talk us through how you got into running.
Yeah, so I guess I sort of got into running like everyone in lockdown, sort of in the middle. I lived in a bit of a party house. So I was partying a bit too hard, and I was like, right, I need to do something that's not this. Get out the house. So yeah, I started running. I could probably only do about 3K, then just carried on going around Victoria Park, and every single run was like, I've got a PB. I've got to be like the fastest I can ever be. And I met this guy who took me under his wing and was like, let's go for a coffee. I can show you that you can go a bit longer and a bit slower than 5K. And yeah, he sort of taught me the way of running. And that's how I sort of met the community and sort of stayed sane as well through lockdown, because partying wasn't keeping me sane. So yeah, started about middle of lockdown and carried on ever since.
Amazing. Do you wish you had run when you were younger?
I actually come from a swimming background. So yeah, I was a national swimmer way back in high school. And I carried it on until probably like the first year of uni. And then it was sort of like, do I want to go to the Olympics and try and train for that? Or do I want to do university and sort of do that sort of thing? And I decided I didn't know if I could quite make it. So I gave up swimming, started like water polo, and then found out that drinking and partying was really cool in university, and sort of gave up completely. And so went for 4 years doing no sports at all, and then sort of found my way back in.
I think like it's so often the way that people push themselves so young to really go after something like that. Do you think it was the intensity of swimming that almost meant you didn't keep the exercise up? Because as soon as you've like burnt all your matches growing up, and then you don't have that same goal anymore, so you actually just push your energy into partying and socializing?
Yeah,
or...
I think like when you have, especially with a sport like that where you're doing morning and evening and so many hours, like no social life, like swimming is your social life. You're sort of like, if you don't have this crazy goal, then you don't have any goal. Yeah. And you're like, well, there's no point just doing it for fun, because I didn't know what fun was at that point. I was like, you have to train insane or nothing at all. So it was quite nice to just be like, just gonna let go of all sort of goals.
Does that mean that when you started running, the goal was just to run for fun?
It was just to run for fun, because I'd never done it. There was no pressure there. I was like...
You're not training to be in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think even now when I go and swim, I still have a really competitive sort of like, I've got to be like the best in the pool, just because of that mentality. And I've grown up in it. Whereas running, I was so new. I didn't know anything. So I was like, I can fail at this and it's fine, because I've not trained my whole life for it.
And we can go into all of the amazing things you've done in your running, but has that changed? Do you have more pressure now? Do you feel that you need to be running really far because you've gone really far, or do you still run for fun?
I do. I definitely still run for fun. There's a little bit of pressure there. I think it more comes from like social media, and trying to always like post things. But I guess I changed my scope on running. I think when I first sort of started, it was like, I need to hit all these PBs and like try and be fast. And then I realized that wasn't my style of running. And actually my style of running was seeing how far I could go. And that's sort of where I found my enjoyment again.
So many people obviously, did start running in lockdown. What do you think it was that kept you running after lockdown? Was it hitting those PBs?
Well, that's a hard question. Yeah. I think it was like building confidence. I think I really lacked confidence. And I think a lot of people going into anything new, you feel like you don't belong in that space. And I definitely didn't feel like I belonged in the running space, especially as my social media grew. I was like, why are people watching me run? I don't know why people want to see just some random person run. And then it was sort of like taking on those challenges and just saying yes to things. Like, I love just being able to say yes, and like, if I fail, I fail. And I guess that's sort of where it's come from. Like, these opportunities have come up and I've just been like, oh, I've got to say yes. Like, I don't know when that'll happen again. It might all end tomorrow. So let's go for an adventure. And it's just sort of snowballed from there. And I think that's how I've carried it on, because these opportunities keep coming up. And I'm like, well, yeah, let's just do it. Why not? And then another one comes up. So.
And I guess there's like a few steps to get to where you are now with all of these exciting opportunities.
Yeah.
So first goal is run for fun, run 5K. What was your second goal? Like, what was the thing that took you from 5K to the next thing? What was the first event or the first thing that you did?
It was actually Hackney Half.
Nice.
So that was the first race that I did sort of out of lockdown. I'd never done a race before. My partner, he actually saw me. He just got to know me as I was starting running. So he saw me through my first half marathon. And obviously now, through everything I've been through, he's like, this is a bit mad that you're doing all of this, from remembering that first half marathon. But yeah, that sort of set it off. And then I remember saying after that, I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe one day I'll do a marathon, but I'm not really sure if I'll ever be able to do one. Did a marathon. And then I actually saw Lucy Davis do a sign up for 100K. And I was like, wow, that would be really cool. That's so inspiring. I've always followed her, as she's a swimmer as well. And I was like, as soon as she signed up for that, I was like, right, next year I'm going to sign up for that and try it. And then, yeah.
And is that feeling the thing that's just kept on going, which you finish a half marathon, you're like, I could do a little more and push yourself to the next one. Is that still the case, or have you got to distances where you're like, I don't think that I can go more than that, or are you still feeling the same?
Still sort of feeling the same. I think now I do want to sort of circle back and do some, like I'm doing the 100 again in 2 weeks. I sort of now want to see where I can push times. But I do just really enjoy sort of more the adventure part than maybe the times. So I guess that sort of comes with the distance. It's more of the adventure, where are we off to? And
so it's almost the case that your motivations or feelings are like slightly circling back to this feeling of being the best swimmer in the pool to now being faster and really challenging at the front end of an 100K race.
Yeah, I think it's that confidence. I think before I was really lacking it, and now I've run more, it sort of builds up and you're like, okay, like I don't have to be the best out there, but I can see where I can push myself, and it's okay to be like that. I think when I was swimming, it's like I had to be the best, whereas now it's like, just see where you can push yourself.
So it's going from being the best swimmer in the world at the Olympics to being a better version of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And so long as you're pushing yourself and improving, then you're happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you did breeze over the marathon. You have run some very fast times. Like, you've done about 3:30 for the marathon.
Yeah. The one just after Portugal when we were out there, I did. That was sort of the most challenging one. I went to Barcelona and I knew I had a really bad ankle and it was really painful. At the time, I didn't know it was a stress fracture. And I was like, I'm going to run it. It's fine. I was, doing it with a brand, and came back and I was in a boot for 2 months. So that wasn't fun. And I think making sure that I got through that and still went back to running, I think in the past I would have quit and been like, okay, it's sort of like, let's not try again. But I'm really glad that I carried on and tried new things, even though I sort of like had some real lows.
I guess that's because running it did mean more to you than the times, that you could go back and you'd still be gaining all the positive like mental side and, you know, really pushing yourself, even though you might not be as fast. Like your return to running is probably just as valuable than hitting those PBs.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
like the people that you run with and everyone that you meet, it means so much more now.
Yeah.
I guess that's an inherent difference of running v swimming, which is you can't really make small talk when
Yeah.
your face is underwater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even though sometimes running is a bit lonely, especially when you're trying to get in insane distances and doing it all the time, swimming is even more of a lonely sport. Like you have the community like you do have running, but you're talking at the end of all your training, not constantly throughout. So it's a lot more of a community.
And I guess like rests in between swimming sessions might be 10 seconds
Yeah.
before you'll head back down and do your next 100, which
Yeah,
is like
exactly.
not exactly in much time for a conversation.
Yeah.
So we've had Hackney Half Marathon.
Yeah.
What was next?
Then I think it was Copenhagen Marathon.
How did that go?
That was really good. A lot of my friends are from Sweden, so I had a couple of friends there cheering me on. They came over to Copenhagen, and that was really good because there was no pressure. It was my first marathon. I think I went out and did a 3:30. I just wanted to go under 4 hours, so I was super happy with that.
Just under 4 hours. That's quite a lot of time. You could have probably got a little tour bus around Copenhagen and then still done 4 hours.
I had no idea. I think that was so nice. I think that was one of my favorite runs because there was no time expectation. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just like, just go out and enjoy it. And I did. I just smiled the whole way and then did a little cry at the end, I think, as all runs I've ever done, little cry. And then I was like, this is great. Like I finished. And I didn't actually think about doing another marathon anytime soon. But it was one of those things where someone reached out and was like, would you do this run for us? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And
that was the start of these ultra challenges.
Yes.
So
yeah.
what was your first ultra marathon?
My first ultra, I'd done a couple with my friends along the Thames path, just ourselves, like 50 Ks, super chilled.
So a fun weekend day out with your friends
Yeah.
is like, rather than like, do you want to go to the pub and have some
How different is
cocktails?
that
It's
from
like
party life?
Very different.
fancy a 50k social catch up.
Yeah, we did that a couple of times, very different.
And what would that entail? Is that you meeting up and just running out 50k and getting the train home? Or
Yeah, so we actually get the train out there, so there's no sort of like, we got to come back.
can't quit.
Yeah, and we'd just take loads of snacks. We'd find little coffee shops along the way. We'd stop, like enjoy it, like super slow, and we keep stopping. You know, it'd be a whole day out sort of expedition.
This sounds like the funnest weekend. Can I come on the next one? This is so cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. And so I sort of had that, knowing that I could do 50. So I signed up for Race of the Kings. And I had my parents there. I had my partner, all our dogs. Everyone was cheering me on. And I couldn't finish it. I got 65k through. And I sort of went out really confidently and maybe a little bit overconfident. I was like, yeah, I've got this, I'll be fine. I've done 50k, what's 100? And it really humbled me. It was really hot, and the first section of the race is really flat. So you do 30k flat, like, yeah, I've got this, and then all of a sudden it just goes up. And I mean, running in London is very flat. So the hills hit me and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I felt really sick. And I think mentally I quit before I actually quit. I was done. I just couldn't get that mindset back. So yeah, finished at 65 and felt really down about it. But I secretly signed up to Race to the Stones, which was a month later. And
After the 65 or before?
after the 65, I didn't tell anyone. I actually lied to my partner and said I was going to Love Trails, and I went and did it by myself. And I thought if I didn't tell anyone, the pressure wouldn't be there. So if I failed again, I'd just come home and no one would know that I tried it.
Pretend you had a great time at Love Jet.
Yeah. But I then called him at 80k and I was like, right, please don't be angry, but I think I'm
is
gonna finish.
amazing.
I think I'm gonna finish this. And he was actually playing cricket in Cambridge, and he was quite drunk at the time. And he was like, "What?" He was like, "If I'd have known, I'd have come." And I was like, "No, that's the whole point. I don't want you to come. I don't want anyone to know." And he hung up on me, and I was really sad. And then he called back, and he was like, "You've got this. Like, obviously, I'm supporting you. You know, you can do 20k. What's 20k? It's easy. Like, you've done 80 now." He obviously told my parents, and they started ringing me. So the last 20k, I was on the phone to everyone, just like they were pushing me on. And that's how I finished my first 100.
And the 20k flew by?
It flew by. I think I have a picture with like, they have markers at every kilometre. I think
And you're
I took
there
a
in like
picture
you're
of
there in
every
like
kilometre.
you're there like a call booth ringing the whole family.
People are probably like going past like, God, what's she like yabbering on about? But yeah, it was amazing.
Anya, what would you do if Joe goes away for a boys' weekend and then rings you on Saturday afternoon and like 3 PM and says like, "Oh, Anya, by the way, I didn't want to tell you, but I'm 80k to 100k run."
I'd be angry, yeah. I'd be like, why didn't you like me?
Wait, because you'd have done it with it.
Yeah, maybe. I'd be like, why didn't you want me to do it with you?
That is an unbelievable story. And did you like track it and put it on Strava?
Yeah,
So he would have found
known.
out.
I knew that I'd have to tell people, and I actually filmed something for Instagram before it went out, being like, "Please don't kill me, but this is what I'm doing." And I think the saddest part was at the end. I had to like get the train home by myself, like feeling just so like depleted. But I also felt really happy that not everyone was too mad at me and everyone was supportive, and I finished it.
You're proud of finishing.
Yeah.
I think it also must show that you are running for yourself and to improve yourself rather than for anyone else. The fact that, yeah, you didn't actually want anyone else there. Like, so often I'm thinking about other people when I run, and that stresses me out, as you say.
Yeah.
Do you think that is the case?
I think it was, because I felt really bad because I didn't want my parents to be angry that like, I didn't want them to think that their support had thrown me off or anything like that, because their support was amazing, like them having signs all the time. And it was a lot of pressure. And I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. I wanted to finish in a certain time. And I think that's silly for your first sort of ultra to put that sort of pressure on yourself. So if I could go back, I probably would have gone back to the mentality of that Copenhagen Marathon and just been like, just enjoy it, just have fun. Don't think about all these pressures. So that's what I sort of go into now whenever I do a race. Just go and enjoy it, just have fun.
And so practically, what did you do differently between the 65 and the 100 that you completed? Did you start off slower? Like, was there anything other than mentally feeling more relaxed? Did you start slower? Did you do anything differently, or did you just feel
I
different on the
did
inside?
actually start a little bit slower, and I didn't think so much about time. So before I was like looking at my watch all the time and, you know, checking things, and this time I was like, just don't look at it. And I went in with just complete it. Like, it doesn't matter how long it takes you, just finish 100. And I think that mentality completely changed how I ran it, because when you're thinking about a time, or for me, if I'm thinking about a time, it just really stresses me out. And then I can't just relax into running. And I was like, just look around, look at the scenery. It's like a beautiful run in Oxford. Like, this is so nice. And you get to do this. And yeah.
And you said at the start of the conversation that now you're thinking about getting a bit faster again.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
So yeah, my 100k last year was 12 hours and 17 seconds. And that 17 seconds has really played on my mind, because I'm like, oh, I was so close, but I knew I couldn't go any faster. Like, my legs were not getting me those 17 seconds. So this time around, I want to get rid of those 17 seconds. But I know that I'm going to go into this with the same mentality of go in and enjoy it. I've run the same course before, so I sort of know where I can enjoy it a bit more, and I have so much more experience now with what equipment to use. I didn't know what I was doing last time. I had a backpack of like everything on me, like phone charger, water, like 3 pairs of socks, like so many different things.
3 pairs of socks?
Yeah, I was like, what if it rains? Because I had no one there, no one to
and
support
you had your like 4 phones for the call center that you had going on as well,
yeah,
right?
exactly. I had like a GoPro and like everything. I was so bogged down with everything. I remember like packing, being like, should I put some trainers in my bag? Maybe I'll need like a second pair of trainers. I don't know what I need.
Well, in case you go on all fours and put a pair in your
I
hands.
was like, I don't know what I'll need, because I had no support. I was like, well, you know, I have got to be prepared for everything here. So obviously this time around,
You'd have thought your boyfriend would have noticed when you just cleared out the cupboards.
yeah, gone with like everything, little wheelie
No wonder,
suitcase.
it's probably a good storyline. I'm going off to a festival. He's like, yeah, I can tell you've got a huge backpack on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think this time around I'm just a little bit smarter in how I'm going about it.
So you're going to be faster because you're a better athlete, you're more knowledgeable, but not because you're changing your mindset.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely keep the same mindset.
Well, so you've now run 100k.
Yeah.
What came next?
After 100k, I think I might have done a marathon in between there. But then came the 500, which was this year in March. Yeah. So I found out that I was doing that
There are just not many people who can say like the 500 and they're not talking about like a multi-day cycle.
Yeah. I found out, I was confirmed that I was doing it last year at the end of November. So I actually came off my bike in October, and I had stitches on my knee. So I couldn't run for a month. But then I got contacted about doing a run. And it was actually, I wanted to do the relay. I've always wanted to do the Speed Project relay. It sounds amazing. I know you did it. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I want to do this. I've watched people do it. And Reebok, who sponsored me through it, reached out and they said, you know, what runs are you doing? We want to help you do something. And I said, the Speed Project. Would you help me do that? Because obviously there is a lot of funding behind it. It's quite, it's quite a lot of money. And they were like, oh, yeah, that sounds kind of cool, but would you do it solo? Because I feel like there's a better story there. And I was like, oh, I've got to think about this. I haven't run for a month. Am I going to be ready?
Could you ever be ready?
Yeah, exactly. Am I ever going to be ready? And I was always like, well, is this opportunity ever going to come up again? Is someone going to believe that I'm going to do this? I was like, probably not. Let's just say yes and figure out if I can run this at the end of it.
And did you believe that you could do it?
When I started, I did. I think through training, I went through a lot of stress. There was a lot of stress built in the build up to it because of you got to plan your own route. I had to plan paces, and also making sure I had like photographers, and I was the person completely organizing every single aspect of it. The team in Reebok were in Italy, so they weren't out there. So there was a lot of pressure alongside the running, which I sort of didn't know that I was going to be taking on. But it also gave me full control over everything. So I knew that if anything went wrong, there was no one else to blame but myself, which was kind of nice, a little bit stressful. But then when I started, I was like, you just have to believe that you're going to do it. So I faked it until I made it all the way to the end.
I mean, like, it is, for anyone out there, it must be just so hard to imagine running 500 kilometers. I mean, you did this as a relay with 6 of you?
6 of us, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
To think that, like, you're an elite runner, finding this as hard as you found that just demonstrates what an unbelievable challenge you put yourself on the start line of.
Like, we first met at this brand trip just before you did Barcelona Marathon in Portugal, and then the next thing I know is you were doing the Speed Project solo.
How was Barcelona Marathon in Portugal?
No, we did a training camp in Portugal when Lydia was training for
I was
Barcelona.
like, you did the Barcelona Marathon in Portugal. I was like,
No.
Wow.
interesting. Like, we can't brush over this.
Yeah, and then we were doing the Speed Project, and we were just like tracking you on the Speed Project because we need to see how Lydia was doing. Like, and just to go from an 100k ultra just to saying yes, I'll do 340 miles through the desert. That's so crazy. I want to know all about your training, everything.
My training was, I sort of winged it a lot actually with my training, because I was thinking about getting a coach for it. And then I was like, I think anyone that I contact will think that I'm absolutely mad and tell me that I won't be able to do it. So I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm not going to ask anyone for help.
This is the theme. Just you believe. No one needs to talk. No, you could. They'll believe when you've done it.
I am quite bad for being a little bit stubborn. I just sort of read a lot of articles, books, watched a lot about Courtney Dauwalter, tried to get into her. I remember being on the treadmill and just watching like documentary after documentary through like winter, trying to get into these people's mindset of like, how do you mentally get over this? And I think that was the main thing that people always brought up is like, yes, you're going to be training a lot, but it's actually all in your mind and how you can mentally problem solve. So I think being able to do 500 kilometers is all about how you problem solve. Like you're going to hit bad times and like real lows, but how do you get past them? Because you can always get past them. So I think that's sort of how I took it on. And I started basically thinking, just get to the end. And the whole time I was out there, all I said was like, it doesn't matter how long it takes you, even if we've got to book new flights and it takes us 3 weeks, you're going to finish this. And I actually finished faster than I thought we were going to finish. So I think that mentally really, really helped, just being like, no pressure. Like, not many people do this, so it doesn't actually matter how long it takes.
And so with that in mind, like, practically you're kind of thinking that you're going to run into problems, like the logistics are going to go wrong, there's going to be a flat tire, whatever it's going to be. So you're just running until the problem happens and then you'll just deal with that problem.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about 500 kilometers, that's such a long way. You're thinking, let's just run until something happens and then deal with that thing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
almost kind of chunk it down into these smaller pieces.
Yeah. So that's how we sort of went about it. And I mean, the team that we had were absolutely amazing. The driver was my partner. And then we had Brad, who was the guy that I met in Victoria Park, who took me under his wing and got me into running. So obviously he had to be there. He was one of my pacers. And then the other two guys, just random people I met on Instagram. I put it out to the world that I needed a pacer and a photographer. And these guys, like a lot of people contacted me because they knew what the Speed Project was. But these two just really, you know, when you just get like a good vibe from someone, I was like, you guys seem awesome. And yeah, we're still friends now. And I think one of them, we're having a wedding in Europe for family and everything. And hopefully they're going to be coming as well. They've made real lifelong friends.
That is amazing. And what would be an example of like some of the problems that you encountered?
Luckily, we didn't actually have any problems with our van or anything like that. I think the major thing was my ankles. My ankles blew up to crazy swelling. I think actually the day after, I had like muffin tops on top of my ankles. I've never seen an overhang on an ankle.
So it's like a cankle gone too far.
Yeah, gone way too far. I was terrified that I'd get on the plane and like my ankles would just explode. But we survived. But major problems I sort of came up against would be I did a section which is called like the power line, which is where we only had an RV. So the RV, I sort of said goodbye to the RV knowing that I'd have to do 67k unsupported and then see them again. And in my head, when I planned it, I was like, yeah, 67k, I'll be okay. We'll walk it. It'll be fine. We'll just enjoy it. And the terrain, I don't think I was prepared for.
Well, that's like the desert bit.
Yeah. And it was, did you go through?
No, so I didn't do Powerline because we needed the support vehicle as much as possible. I can't imagine just like having no support for that amount of time.
But also the confidence to be that 67k is, you know, it's 67k, I'll be fine, see you in a bit.
You didn't run 4 years ago.
See you in a bit, honey, just up the road.
Yeah, I think because I knew how much in comparison to the rest, I was like 67 should be fine. But yeah, we couldn't run any of it because it was either really, really rocky terrain or it was like sand on a beach. We didn't take enough food and we didn't take enough water. And my pacer, Tyson, who I think he'd only run 50 miles, that was the longest ever run, did the whole thing with me through that section. And he was absolutely amazing. Like, we talked when we needed to talk. He was silent when we needed to. But by the end, the last 10 miles, we were hallucinating really badly. And we'd gone past a couple of people that had pitched up tents and were sleeping, some of the other solo people. And we were like, yes, like it was kind of like nice motivation to be like, we're overtaking people. Woo! Yeah, we left at 7:00 at night. And I remember like waving goodbye to Ollie.
Head torch as well.
It was actually a full moon. So we were really lucky that it was the one night that it was a full moon and there was no wind. So we could take off our head torches. We did the whole thing with no head torch, which was really beautiful from what we could see around us. But it also helped our eyes like not be too tired because the head torch really makes you quite tired. But yeah, by the end, I think I must have seen our RV about 7 times. I was like, oh my God, it's there. I can see it. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I think I can see it too. And he'd get to this rock and he'd be like, there's nothing there. Like we're just completely hallucinating.
So were the hallucinations what people describe as runner's high, or would you say it was runner's low, or what would you describe it as?
I think these are runner lows.
Okay,
definitely.
And did you have other moments of runner's high? Or was that just the finish line?
I'm not too sure if I ever got like an actual high. I don't think I've ever really had like a proper runner's high. I think I just enjoy like it in general. But the finish line, it was mixed emotions, I think, actually, because in one I thought it was going to be this grand, like huge sign, I'm going to be running into Las Vegas, wow. And then you actually get to this road and it's like 15 kilometers of one dead straight road into Vegas, and it's just a highway, and you're just like, oh, this is really boring, of 15 kilometers.
So then you turn around and run 485 kilometers.
Yeah, all the way back. And the sign's really small. And I don't know if you thought that, like, it's smaller than you think it's going to be. Also, I hadn't really rested that day. I did 80 kilometers and I was just like, I'm just going to finish. I'm going to get it done. I want it done. And I jogged the whole thing. And that last 20 kilometers, I was going to the bathroom a lot. I was being sick on the side of the road. It wasn't a pretty sight, that last 20. And then you get there and it's amazing, like the highest of highs. And then you're like, right, you're done. And you're like, kind of like, oh, right, okay. And then my body sort of went into shock and I had to like get carried out. And I was like, yeah, that was it. And it was over. And you're like, oh. And then you're in Las Vegas and it's not being out in the desert. It's not that beautiful scenery. And you're like, oh wow, like really hitting home where we are, and you're just like a bit down because you're like, I want the adventure to carry on, like I don't want it to end.
But the adventure didn't finish. You got married?
Yes. So this is actually really sad. We didn't officially get married, which is the worst thing in the world. We went to go get married, and
in Vegas. This is at the end.
Yeah, in Vegas.
And are you kind of like hobbling with your overgrown ankles?
Yes.
You had the veil, you had everything.
Yeah, so I actually ran the last bit with a veil on, in like white, because I was like, I've got to like end this, with a big bang. But I actually got a mobility scooter, and then we went and got one of those comical margaritas. So I was like whizzing around in this like little. This was the next day. I did actually sleep and have a bath and like shower. Got a mobility scooter, didn't look out of place in Las Vegas, it was great. And then this huge margarita, went and got a tattoo as well, and then
what was the tattoo?
It says Powerline on it in like little electric sort of. Nice. Yeah. And then we went to go get married. Didn't actually get married because you've actually got to plan the day before if you're English and like get a certificate, so we didn't do that, but we had a photo shoot and pretended that we got married because we really wanted to. And we were
married now?
No, we are getting married in September. So we got that planned.
Well, it's also great this way because you kind of get to get married twice.
Yeah, actually 3 times, because then in October we're going to Europe to do a Spanish wedding.
Ideal.
We're really dragging it out.
You could do around all the continents. You've done
Yeah,
America,
exactly.
Europe, well, England's Europe. You've got a few more to come, right?
Yeah.
And this is all with one husband, so
Yeah, then next year
Yeah.
another one.
Well, and so this is a wild 4 years. All at the same time, you work full time.
I do, yes. I do work full time.
How on earth is that possible?
Yeah, it is a lot of, I mean, luckily, my social life is running. And also I love early mornings. So I go to bed at like 8:30. And some people was like, oh, how do you fit in all this running? I'm like, because I live like a 60-year-old person. I go to bed so early. I wake up really early and just do all the running in the morning. Like the training for the 500, I would, the longest training run I actually did in the build up was 30 kilometers in one go, which loads of people think is absolutely mental. But I did like 30 kilometers in the morning and then 30 kilometers after work, just because I couldn't fit it in before work. Otherwise I'd be up at like midnight. So it's a lot of sort of scheduling it in. It's a lot of doing some before work and then a lunch run and then one after work.
And then all your annual leave is running across the desert.
Yeah, exactly. My holidays are going to a run, and then Ollie will come with and we'll take maybe 2 days afterwards. And
so will you have some holiday for your actual wedding and your honeymoon?
Yeah, we will. I've already planned a run before the morning of, which I think will be nice. But no, we will actually have like a mini moon afterwards where no running is allowed.
Wow. And I guess you've ran 500 kilometers. Obviously you've got 100k coming up and you want to run that a little faster. What comes after that? Have you got any big landmark goals that you want to do? Are you just relaxing and enjoying things for now, or what are the thoughts?
Yeah, luckily I've got a place in Berlin, so I will be doing Berlin because I do want to tick off the majors. But the project that is currently in motion, I won't tell you too much about it because I can't, but it'll
Exclusive.
be the beginning of next year. And it will be longer than the speed project.
Oh, awesome.
And it is in Europe, and I'm trying to do a fastest known time.
Wow.
But yeah, it'll be announced later this year or next year.
That's so exciting.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow, what an amazing roller coaster. With that in mind, shall we segue into Steph's tip of the week?
Yes.
My top tip today is on the importance of mobility work. Mobility work is not us runners' favourite thing to do, but it will really help loosen off any tight areas and improve your flexibility. This week, whilst you're watching TV, just try 10 minutes of strength and conditioning 2 to 3 times, and you'll really feel the benefits going into your next session.
Thanks very much for that, Steph. We're now going to debunk some of your training myths. One we have today is you have to run fast all the time to get faster. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I think this is what a lot of people do when they get into running is they will run maybe their 5k as fast as they can, and then they think, right, how do I get faster? Let's try and run my 5k a little bit faster and do that all the time. And it's obviously not optimal. We should run a variety of different runs for lots of different reasons. We should spend most of our time running easily. So that way we're not pushing our body quite so much, and then we can give 100% for a speed session, for a faster run from time to time, but then also allow our body to recover, build up our endurance with some of these easy runs. We should be looking to test and build our endurance with a longer run as well. And then even within these speed sessions, it's not always just 5k hard and fast. It could be doing some intervals, doing some tempo running, or even doing a hill workout. So we really want to see variety rather than just running 100% all the time. Would you agree, or is that?
Yeah, 100%. I think running at speed constantly is one way to get injured for sure.
And it's also not as fun. Like,
no, you can't talk, you
what
can't
we
chat.
all have found, and what you're doing so much of your story is running with other people, enjoying that as your social life, and such a great way to enjoy running, which relatively the way to become an amazing runner is run for a very long time. And to do that, you need to make it fun.
Yeah.
Going with other people, chatting is a great way to support that training.
Amazing. And then the second and last one is that running is only for the youngsters.
No, absolutely. So there's the quote from Born to Run, and I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it's, you don't get old. Sorry, you don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running. My dad has turned 60 this year, and I keep telling him that because as soon as he stops running, he's going to become an old man. But currently, he did a half Ironman last year, and he keeps going. So for as long as he keeps going, he's going to stay young, is my view. And as soon as you stop and put your feet up, your body will then get old.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I am inspired by so many ultra runners, and they're definitely, older than, you look at some young people in like sprinting and stuff. So people that I'm inspired by are definitely older than, a lot of people that think athletes should be. So yeah, I don't think ages.
Yeah, I think also like our bodies go through different phases and different ages are suited to different things, and typically sprinting is something that people are faster at when they're younger. And even within the running spectrum of Olympians or football players, the sprinters, the people who play up front on a football pitch, are typically peaking at a younger age than maybe the defenders who don't need to run quite as fast. And in the same way, the ultramarathon runners and the marathon Olympians and the Ironmen of the world are all older than the sprint distance triathletes or the 100-meter sprinters. And so as we age, maybe we want to think about changing our goals and enjoying a different side of running. But no, absolutely, I think running is for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. Well, we're going to come on to some fun and silly this or that. So our first one is, what's your go-to post-run snack? Would you rather a post-run croissant or a post-run gelato?
Oh,
I know you like both.
Yeah, I like both. I think recently I've been in Italy a bit, and I have been having gelato. I absolutely love it. It's great. It's so good.
But is that only because you're in the nice summery Italy? Because
yeah, I mean, looking outside today, I don't think I'd want
January run in England in the dark before work, and you're quickly getting your gelato in at 9 a.m. when you might have had a croissant.
Oh, that's hard. Can I change it as
you want a seasonal?
A seasonal
option. Well, that's not really a this or that, really. The answer, the this or that can't be both, because then you haven't really picked.
I'm going to keep... No. Oh, I'll go croissant then, actually. I think it transfers all year through.
What are you going with?
Croissant, yeah.
I think post-run I'm going croissant, but if it was like in life, gelato and ice cream, I can't live without ice cream.
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, right, second one, and this is one that you've prepared, Anya, because I'm going to need to be introduced to a certain new word. Would you rather run an ultramarathon in jorts or boots? First of all, for the listeners and for me, what's a jort?
Like long jean shorts. Like they're really uncomfortable with my eyes.
And then when you say boots, do you mean like Wellington boots, football
Well,
boots?
Lydia has some very cool like collection of boots, like whether they're cowboy boots or like
Okay, so like fashionable boots or jorts.
Yeah.
Jean shorts.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, I have a lot of cowboy boots, and we're getting married, and it's cowboy themed in Europe.
So that will be boots and jorts.
Yes, maybe not jorts. Maybe jorts underneath the dress to hide them.
Okay.
That's really hard. I think I go jorts. Because
you run an ultramarathon in jorts.
Yeah,
denim.
because you're not going to get far if you've got blisters and your feet are going to fall off.
But you're going to have blisters in between your legs. They're chafing from jorts. I can't think of...
Yeah.
Feels like a type of torture. Don't think I could run 5k in jorts.
Yeah, but...
And boots might come in handy if, it's a bit muddy and you need a bit of...
I mean, unless you could, take them off and run barefoot at some points.
But that's
maybe.
now just like a neither, isn't it?
Well,
You're saying no jorts and no boots, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go jorts because I think I can just feel the pain of a boot rubbing around my ankle and things, and I know I wouldn't get very far.
If you get your elephant ankles again,
exactly,
they might explode in the boot.
They'd just never come off. I'd have to live with the boots on forever.
Wow, I can't. Ultramarathon in jorts.
But you've never heard of jorts.
Can you imagine me turning up the office in jorts?
Jorts and flip-flops.
Would you rather run your next marathon in jorts or big cowboy boots?
Oh, a marathon is different to... Oh, no, it's boots. It's boots.
You're doing boots?
Yeah.
Are these like knee-high boots? Are they?
I'm thinking like cowboy boots,
Okay,
which are pretty like.
I'm going to try and find a
Cowboy boots are like kind of just above the ankle and like all pointy and
Yeah, the
leathery.
pointy ones,
okay.
the little Cuban heel and everything.
You
That's
probably
what I'm imagining.
You probably get quite a lot of extra cheers running your marathon or your ultramarathon
Yeah.
in your cowboy boots. So, whereas
Yeah.
I don't think everyone will get behind the jorts in the same way.
But if I was running, like, I've got some, was it Bloodstones? Those sort of like walking boots. I'd definitely choose those. Those are comfy. But
They're boots.
yeah, they're so comfy. They could be classed as, they're like made for walking, aren't they?
One of my best friends always wears basically man leggings that look like jeans. That if you wore man legging jeans jorts combo, that would be a clever way to get away
That
with
would be
this situation.
comfortable.
But that's kind of like your walking
There is
boots
actually a
cop out.
brand out there that does running shorts that look like jeans.
I was just glad
I've seen swimming.
Yeah, I'd definitely wear those.
I've seen swimming trunk jorts before, not knowing they were jorts at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously they were just swimming trunk jeans. There we go. That was a great education. It's like myth busting third time round. So our third one. Would you rather never ever have coffee again, or never get another tattoo?
Oh, that is really, really difficult. I have like 7 coffees a day. But I do love tattoos. I'm getting one this Friday as well. So, I'd have to go no more coffee. I'd have to live on tea.
Oh.
Can I exchange it for tea?
Yeah,
I can
tea's
still-
fine, tea's fine, tea's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
What
I
about-
really love tattoos.
In your fastest known time, you literally can't have a coffee now. You get a tattoo at the finish, but you cannot have a coffee.
I'm going to commit to it. Yeah. I think I'd be really sad if I couldn't get another
I
tattoo.
guess you could just wake up and have tea.
Yeah. Did you do sometimes that I do feel a bit more sad that day, but
When you have tea.
yeah.
Did you have coffee on the speed project?
I didn't actually have as much as I usually would.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't have a kettle. So I was like trying to make ice ones and we didn't have like anything. But if we ever went past the McDonald's, all the guys knew that they had to stop and get me like a couple cups. So yeah, we did have some, but not enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're going to be running a marathon with lots of tattoos and jorts
Yes.
with coffee.
Yeah.
No coffee.
No coffee. Maybe I just have loads of Morton gels with caffeine.
Sounds pretty smart. Well, Anya, do you want to tell us our embarrassing story that we've been sent in? Yes. And for anyone who wants to send us in your embarrassing story for next time, send it to podcast@runner.com or send us a voice note on Instagram. Obviously, you've got any very embarrassing stories, you can tell us afterwards.
Yeah, I have to think of some.
Right, Anya, when you're ready.
Okay. Years ago, I got lost running late at night in Peckham. I ended up running through Nunhead Cemetery, Brockley Cemetery, and Camberwell Cemetery. I have no idea what impression my Strava map must have given. Wow. You do find yourself in some weird places when you just get lost running.
Do you have an embarrassing running story that you want to share? You don't if you don't have to if you don't want
I
to.
don't know. I probably got loads, but not one off the top of my head.
Okay,
no.
we'll let you off.
Yeah.
Well, with that in mind, we ask our final question of the podcast. So another slightly silly one. You're at the start line of your fastest known time coming up. Actually, it's probably a bit mean because that's a really long one. You're at the start line of your 100k.
Mm-hmm.
You're completely naked, but you can bring 3 things.
Okay.
But what are you bringing? Are you bringing jorts or cowboy boots, or what are your 3 things?
My 3 things. I'm going to go for shorts and a sports bra.
Yeah.
That's
2
2
things.
gone. And I'm still running this race like normal.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And you still are doing your goal of getting your sub 12 hour PB.
And my poles.
So your barefoot sports bras, shorts with poles.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Shoes.
Poles is a new one. We hear like an interesting variety, but poles have never been mentioned.
Oh.
They're not wrong,
No.
but it's just interesting.
Well, I want 4 things. I want trainers. I shorts, poles, and shoes.
Okay.
Got it.
And no socks. I'd be okay with that. But I want my poles. I like to
Over
finish the
a
100K.
sports bra.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then at aid stations I can get my food and my water.
Yeah.
So
you missed Anya's secret trick.
Well, I thought as a swimmer, you might say like a swimming costume, like all in one.
That's so smart.
You can't change it now.
Oh.
You phoned a friend.
But maybe it would be like a record. No one's ever done a topless run before. I don't know if I want to be known for that, but I'm going for it.
You'll be viral.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, there we are. Thank you very much for telling a unbelievably amazing story, and a huge good luck for all of the amazing challenges you've got coming ahead.
Thank you so much for having me.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Runna. If you want to train for any running goal, please download the app, and don't forget you can use the code Runna Podcast for a 2-week free trial.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, follow, do all of that nonsense, and we'll be back here next week. And if you want to be featured, send us your embarrassing running story. Either send us a voice note on Instagram or send us an email to podcast@runner.com so that we can have a good laugh at your expense in Runner HQ and share it on one of the next episodes.